Alpha Training Podcast with JR, Mike, and RJ. So let's just get it started. Welcome
Yeah.
to the Alpha Training Podcast. Today we have Coach Paolo and Coach Reg, and they represent the IKO Kettlebell Sport Association in the Philippines. We'll get into a little bit more of kind of their personal programming and their personal kind of history with kettlebell as we get along. But thanks for coming on, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Glad to be here.
Awesome, awesome. I guess let's start first with Coach Powell. Like if you can give us a bit of a background on your like fitness journey and how you kind of came to discover kettlebell.
Right. So it's not a secret. I always tell the story. Worked in an office for a couple of years. Somebody told me, "Hey, man, there's this thing called kettlebells," and that guy actually had a kettlebell in his locker underneath the computer, and he'd bust it out in between, during break times at work. So he got me hooked onto that. And then fast forward a couple of years, opened up my own gym, decided to jump ship from the corporate world. And then it snowballed from there. I mean, it was just one crazy thing from another. I attended actually the first seminar here by one of the guys, Coach Tim, Kettlebellista. He did the first Russian coach. He brought over the first Russian coach here in the Philippines to do a seminar for kettlebell sport, and that was where it really kicked off because I ended up actually going to Russia after that one.
Wow.
And yeah, that was pretty cool. And then fast forward a couple of years after working with Coach Rudnev during that time, somebody introduced me to my current coach and Regis coach, Coach Dennis Vasilev. And the reason behind that, or the conditions behind that, were that my first ever kettlebell student, I mean, ever, at that first gym that I opened up, she was the one who recommended Coach Dennis to me.
Oh,
That's pretty
nice.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah,
Like a full
that's
circle thing going on.
yeah. So anyway, got introduced to Coach Dennis, brought him over for a cert here in 2018. That was the first. And then it actually ended up becoming one of the first of many competitions and certifications. And in 2019, I went over to his gym in California and competed at the IKO Worlds. And right now we're still working together, still plugging away, kettlebells.
Wait,
Awesome, awesome.
that's like a long journey that we outlined there in like 2 minutes.
That's the
When
short version.
how long ago did you discover it?
This was around 2012, I would say. Yeah. So 9 years ago.
Cool. Okay, so 9 years, pretty much continuously doing kettlebell, right? Like
Yeah,
not looking
continuously,
back,
I
pretty
would
much.
say, but different phases. Because first
Yeah.
off, I didn't start with kettlebell sport. It was just like a tool that was really cool. It didn't look like anything else, and it gave you a lot of these benefits in a short amount of time. So we were using it as an adjunct to, general strength and conditioning training. uh, After a couple of years of that, that's when I really, after taking that kettlebell sport seminar by Coach Rudnev here in Manila, that was 2014, right? 2014, I don't know, Reg. Yeah, 2014 maybe. That's when I really shifted to specialize into kettlebell sport, and after that, haven't looked back since.
And what were you doing that had you do kettlebells as an adjunct? Like what was your main sport before
Right.
kettlebell?
So my main sport before this was back in college was rowing. And after college, there's really no possibility to continue it here, at least in the Philippines. So there was kind of that void. And when this guy, my office mate, introduced me to the bells, it sort of fit the same profile, endurance work, pacing, the breathing, and everything. So, there was something there right at the beginning. And then the guy who I first learned it from actually was Nico. Yeah, he opened one of the first, yeah, kettlebell gyms here in Manila. And his specialty was actually Filipino martial arts or martial arts in general. And that's why we used kettlebells as an adjunct to that type of sport.
Nice, nice. Cool. What about Reg? Sorry, we left you hanging for a bit there.
Silence.
So, Coach Reg.
Well, I never really had a sport. Well, maybe I did, but that was when I was just a kid. with swimming, but it ended up badly because things happened. And then I started the fitness journey thing about 2012, right after I quit the advertising life. But it was basically something to get me out of anxiety and depression and battling against anorexia and bulimia. So it was a huge step for me. So I started power building with my first coach, and then he had life happening for him, and then he ended up passing me to another trainer in this global gym, and then I ended up injuring myself because um, bad coaching probably. And then fast forward to 2013 when I met my first mentor, Richmond. He's one of the powerlifting strongman uh, big guys. So he taught me the proper power building things and slowly introduced me to kettlebells. And at that time, I think he was already working with Coach Tim Ison of Kettlebellista. So we put up this gym. I continued training with him for about a year, and then the gym closed. Then I ended up with Coach RJ in CrossFit. So he was my next mentor, and then he's probably like my foundations for everything. Oh, he taught me probably everything that I know and how to look for things I should be looking at
Nice.
and talking to people the way they need to be talked to. So that started, I kind of put kettlebells aside just to concentrate on learning how to coach CrossFit because it's so many movements in so little time. And then about 2017, when Coach Pao did his opening for the March 2018 cert with Coach Dennis, I attended that class with him, and we never really met before that, right? So we met then, and then he kind of gave me my first kettlebell program,
Wow,
and
awesome.
yeah, so we started training after that. Yay!
That was the beginning
And
of the
then
rabbit hole.
yes, the big rabbit hole, the deep, deep rabbit hole. Now, um, we're both under Coach Dennis, training continuously, no matter what happens until Worlds. Yeah,
Cool, cool. And you're
Reg,
CMS, right, Red?
yeah, I'm
yeah, just
CM.
recently.
Again,
Right.
Congratulations.
my second CMS. Yeah.
So just as a disclaimer,
Mm-hmm.
Coach Reg and Coach RJ also got me into kettlebell, and then Coach Powell just kept digging that rabbit hole a little bit deeper. So
Yep.
yeah, I think everyone on this podcast so far, even JR, who'll be joining us later, actually got influenced to get into kettlebell because of
Yeah,
basically
he
whoever's on this
posted his
podcast right now.
lifetime.
And I
Posting his
gotta put this
lifetime.
out there. I gotta put this out there. If I never met Coach RJ through Reg, I still wouldn't be stretching today. Now I love stretching.
He's flexy now. He's
And
like
Reg got
CrossFit.
me, introduced me to Coach Pau, and got me to do kettlebells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, kettle
This
boodle.
this is all just one big scam, guys.
I know
Yes.
it's
Like,
it's network marketing. You just don't know it yet.
yep, like an actual network where it's like all the different nodes uh, going wherever.
Suffer together.
Also,
Let's go train and suffer together.
right. But at least it's something positive, right? We're not trying to sell you a quick fix for anything. Not yet, anyway. The video comes later.
Reg, how long have you? Do you say have you like pretty much dedicated yourself to kettlebell training?
Uh,
Since when?
I'd say since 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Right. So after like pretty much meandering like year after year, different sports, right? Different like modes of fitness, pretty
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
my question is for you, for both of you guys, like what 9 years and 3 years. How what was in kettlebell that got you to be consistent and like stay on it, even if like with other things that it might have other things might have not kept you consistent.
Hmm. I'd
Ladies
say
first.
the people around me. Like a huge reason why I stay on something or why I even stop and maybe leave is because of the people around me. So training in bells isn't just reaching my lift goals, but it's definitely more about growing with this group of people that I'm working with and building a great friendship with. So yeah.
Cool, Coach Pao.
Yeah, so for me, it's actually interesting that you asked that, and now it's just coming to me that different years, different reasons, right? So the first phase was, man, I can't, I got to get out of this office job, and the bells just happened to be there. It was a way to, what's this, start a different kind of a different career, right? So that was the first one, and it was great. It was really, really great. Next part was after I did that kettlebell sport seminar with Coach Rudnev. I've been watching Coach Rudnev. This was still the early years, at least, of kettlebell sport here and in the West in general. So I was
Hmm.
already following a couple of videos of Coach Rudnev, and I'm like, who is this dude? He's 63 kilos. He weighs 63 kilos, and he's lifting 232s 100 times nonstop. So like, I want to beat that guy. And of course,
Nice.
yeah, of course, little did I know how difficult it would be. And, you know, anyway, when we did that seminar, he was kind of joking with he was joking with me that we had already pretty decent technique. He could tell that we'd already spent a couple of months working with I don't know, with instruction, specific instruction. It wasn't the best,
Mm,
but it was the best that we had at the time. So
yep.
I think it was a joke to him when he casually, offhandedly said, "Oh, you should come train with me in Russia." And I'm like, "Okay." So a couple of months later, I'm on a plane to his town in
Nice.
not Siberia, it's the Far East actually. Spent a month there in winter, and we just trained,
Wow.
trained, and that was when really I saw where there's really nothing magic to it. It's just years and years of consistent work, right? Because the stuff we did there is the stuff we do here, right? And the only difference was, yeah, the environment was there, the people were there were more people doing it with more experience, but there was nothing special about the training program per se, right? The quality of coaching matters, your effort matters, all of that is what really uh, pushes you to improve. So after that, you know, continued training with Coach Rudnev, and then for a time there was a period where I couldn't continue training. That was about a year for some other reason, and then in 2018, that's when I met or somebody introduced me to Coach Dennis. She said her name's Bea, by the way. So Bea, if you get to watch this, hello and thank you. Um, what's this? She introduced me to Coach Dennis, and we did the seminar here. And after that, it was just this completely new chapter of kettlebell lifting because Coach Dennis is probably one of the first of the new generation of lifters. If Coach Rudnev was still lifting when the Soviet Union was still there, right? And Coach
Okay.
Dennis was
Yep.
kind of catching the tail end of that. So he represented this new generation of just monsters. I mean, any of you who know who Coach Dennis is,
Yep.
Coach RJ, Coach Mike, you've met him. He's super nice, but that guy is just a killer
Android
with the
Yeah.
bells, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've
Terminator.
been training with him ever since, and it's great. It's great because we have Reg and I have probably one of the best guys to ever lift professionally, and all we got to do is do what he says. That's it.
Awesome.
So you touched upon an interest something that interested me, like going to like the source of where uh, what your the source of your activity, like where it came from, because there are a lot of in fitness and martial arts, there are a lot of esoteric things, right? So um, like a very what's the word? Very um, let's edit this out, huh? Very what's that word? Ah,
just keep searching,
yeah.
buddy.
Okay, so yeah, that exotic. There you go. So you have these exotic martial arts like, from some magical place, but then that you don't understand the
In the
language, you don't
box.
understand the terms. You slowly learn it, right? And then but then when you go actually to where it came from, it's like and I've also had similar experience with martial arts. It's really nothing like magical. It doesn't really turn you into a superhero. Um, but the magic or the secret is what you said, right? The consistent training and like immersing yourself in the culture of what you're doing, right? So um, did how much of that uh, how would you say like how much of that um, either changed or influenced how you practice and how you coach? Like I
Oh,
know
great
you
question.
know
Great
how to
question. And I
speak
would say
Russian,
that
Coach Pao, and then Coach Red, you're learning how to speak Russian. Like
Trying.
why and how does that help you?
right. So, you mentioned a great word there, which is culture, and you cannot separate this thing from where it came from, right? Where it was born, how it progressed, the people that grew up in it. You cannot separate that, and that's why I did all of these things. Go to the source, see what's happening, learn the language, because all of the source material is in Russian. So if you really want to understand something, you go to the source. I mean, a lot of people give interpretations, and that is what you see on social media today on the internet. I mean, thank God, Coach Dennis speaks excellent English. He just makes everything so much clearer, right? It's that much less difficult to understand and appreciate what we're
Now
actually doing. So now,
versus then. Yeah.
now, yeah, yeah. So going back to your question, how has that affected or improved my own coaching and my philosophy to training? I would say that my biggest takeaway is that yes, the principles are the same, but the application is different, because how those guys grew up and how they trained, the people around them, their coaches, the experience of their coaches, we don't have that here, right? So, what my job has been to take all those principles and apply it in such a way that we can use it and it benefits us. So that's been my personal project with my own lifting and with my own coaching. How do I bring out the best in the people, in myself, and in the people that I coach? Taking all these lessons from all these great guys who I've learned from, and not just copying.
Because if you just copy, right, things get lost or things don't fit, right? So I guess that's the goal of a coach, right? So you fit the program to the person. Cool. How
Yeah,
about
the
you,
the
Red? Why
buzzword
are
is
you
customization.
Why I'm learning
customization?
Russian?
Yeah,
Well,
why
I
are you learning
learned
Russian?
Russian because like Paolo said, most of the material in let's say YouTube is in Russian. All the women that I've been watching are in Russian. None of them, do any of them speak good English, Paolo? Uh, yeah. So, Paula and I have always been talking about going to Russia for a pilgrimage. And if we do go there and I can't speak the language, how am I gonna pick their brains, right?
Oh,
Right?
awesome.
So,
Yep.
so right now, with my technique, Paolo has been sharing a lot of female lifters that probably have the same build as I do, like Irina,
Mhm.
how let's say Ksenia snatches versus this other girl who's heavier, my weight class. And then there's this another female Russian coach that has videos, teaching videos that I can't even understand. So I have to keep asking Paolo what she's explaining, but the way Paolo puts it is basically a transliteration. It's literally what she says or teaches, but I know somewhere in there are gold mines of information that
Mhm.
only the coach and the student understands because it's tailor fit for that student. So I want to keep learning um how they do it themselves. So maybe I can improve myself in lifting and coaching.
I guess that's one interesting another thing about because kettlebell pretty much is new in the West, right? As you said, like when did it start? 80s, 90s.
Well,
It,
this
it
was the
started,
Wild West.
yeah,
Started around early '90s. Yep,
early
the
90s, right?
well-known story. Yeah,
With
RKC,
Dragon Door.
Pavel, Dragon Door. Yeah,
Mm. So I guess even if that's 30 years ago, pretty much like it's still relatively new. That's why you say like, oh no, you still need to go to the source, right? But do you see that eventually kettlebell will be truly um, an international sport, like that where it's like the other sports, even if you have like judo or like basketball that everybody knows, like the elements of the culture where it came from still is there, but pretty much you already have like a Filipino way of doing basketball or like an American way of doing judo, right? Something, or even like something like Brazilian jiu-jitsu, where it's like really already taken root where um, it was currently being practiced. So, how long do you think until there's sort of like a Filipino, or is that even something on the horizon, like a Filipino method to kettlebell or like an American method to kettlebell?
Why me? I think right now, like looking at all the big guys in the Russian scene, like all the superheroes we look up to, um, I see them reaching out more outside Russia, outside Eastern Europe. Um, like Coach Dennis right now has dog. Like Coach Dennis right now has this where is it, Pao? Uh, with Markov and Drudnev. Uh, he has this cert
it's a level
with
three.
a huge.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a level
it's a new
three.
certification. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a level three with. Okay, cut.
Oh, bawal pa yun. Ano pa?
Bawal pa.
Hindi pa, wag
Okay,
mo na
secret.
i-announce daw.
Secret, top secret.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh
I mean,
shit.
no, no, because no,
Rewind.
because this thing that's coming up, it's the first one, so we're gonna see how it goes first. So no commitments yet.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
Rewind. Okay, rewind.
Somebody
So
Where
let the
where
somebody let the
where do
cat out
we
the bag already.
No,
where
pick it
did
up
we
from
oh,
pick
shit,
it up
oops,
yeah.
from
we're live streaming.
Are we
Oops.
live?
the guys reaching out, Reg.
Lol. Okay. So I guess the guys from Russia are currently reaching out outside Russia and Eastern Europe, more into the West and even the Southeast Asian countries, right? So, but most of them don't really speak English well, so they still need to have a translator. So, Taiwan, right? Lisa is a translator for Merkulin? No, Rachinsky. Wait, Merkulin.
No, it was Alexander
None of them.
Kvostov and Ksenia
Oh, okay, Kenya. So,
and Denisov.
who's the other one? Denisov. Yeah. So, that translator, Lisa, also does kettlebells. So, she can, I think, more or less translate it better than an ordinary translator. But if it's in another country and then they don't have a lifter who speaks Russian who can translate well, there's gonna be
Like
a
lost in translation.
yeah, basically. Like there's another Paolo told me about this American lifter, Amanda, who's now BFFs with Kisanya. So Amanda basically left her life and migrated to Russia, right?
Wow.
So so yeah. So right now with the Philippines, with how we teach, of course, it's our own flavor. But as much as possible, even with my students right now, the competing ones, I still invite them to go to the source. So most of them are already taking the IKO level one, level two, what while it's still online because we're gonna have
Yeah.
more this year. So it's still nice to go to the source, which then is.
Cool.
Another follow up there. How, since you guys like you're sort of customizer, right? How would you say would you customize your training from like the how the Russians do it to how would Filipinos do it? Like, yeah, what adjustments? What's like a common adjustment that you've had to make?
For me, I usually like translate it to a way that's very literal. So let's say, I don't know, I probably have this weird teaching language where it's mostly sounding like hugot sometimes, most of the time, okay, most of the time. Or like, let's say going to a stable catch, I just say hit your head on the wall.
Mm.
But
So you're pretty
like
much building your own language that you can use with your
vocabulary, yeah,
clients. Yeah, your
yeah.
own vocabulary.
Because
Cool.
most of the people don't really know kettlebell sport, but
Mm.
they are familiar with other forms of lifting, thanks to CrossFit and powerlifting and those kinds of things. Uh, so if it's quite easier to teach someone with a background who what if they did let's say CrossFit, it's really easy because it's very similar. The language is sort of similar with Olympic weightlifting, except for maybe a few, like block out fixation,
Mm.
head through, um, yeah, those terms. But customizing it to something they can understand on the go, because lifting belts is really fast. It's like dissecting every single movement while on the go is really hard. So what um Paolo taught me starting the journey was focus on one thing instead of working on everything right away. So you just keep cueing the simple words that they can understand, like sit back and or shift your weight on your heels. Those simple words that it's easier to understand.
Cool. So these clients, they're more. Are they like? Did you come? Did they come to you to compete in kettlebell, or like what? Predominantly, are they there for fitness, or why are you laughing?
because because my programming name is Kettle BB. It's supposed to mean kettlebells and barbells because most of my clients starting the journey was into bells and barbells. But but most of my students are like, Coach, you're not teaching us barbell stuff. It's kettlebell boodle. You're just scamming us to compete when you're not saying anything. So everyone started with fitness, and then they see me um, lifting the way I do, and they're basically mind blown with how Paolo and I post about training where we don't put the bell down with in a certain number of minutes for a certain number of sets, and they tried it themselves without telling me, and they're like, coach, how can you do that, can we try? So now they jump into sport. When they jump into sport, of course they need a goal, so they end up competing because it's very convenient now since it's the pandemic and everything's online. So they just left at home, record themselves, and just pass the submission. That's it. So yeah. So eventually, without me telling them to compete, they apparently just go there themselves.
Awesome.
Wow.
Just kind of leading in from what you were just saying with the pandemic and everything kind of being online. Are you guys what are the challenges you guys are having to coach somebody remotely online, via video or via Zoom?
Well, first thing, how do you guys coach? Is it live online, or do you do back and forth with videos and stuff?
Paolo.
This is actually pretty interesting because Reg and I have opposite ways to approach this,
Nice.
but we've gotten good results with both. One thing is I hate Zoom.
I
I
use
hate
Zoom.
having to live coach somebody just because
It sucks.
I was gonna curse, but I'm not gonna curse because the
It's all
internet
good. It's all good.
It's
because the internet is just not, you can't trust it, right? And if you're going off over after, if you're going over a really important technique point, you don't want the frame rate to be dropping or your audio to be lagging or any of that.
Yep.
So what I've done for the past what I've done for the past year with my clients is video submission. They send it, they upload it, I watch it, I record over their video, draw some lines, give some explanations, talk over while they're lifting, send it back, and it's really a what I give them is a very detailed feedback, very detailed feedback, which they can replay. All right, so that's one
Um,
advantage of having these things online because the people can just go back to the video if something's not clear and just watch it again. Whereas in a live situation, you tell somebody something, they're tired, and they forget the next session. Now you just refer them back to that particular video, and now you also have concrete evidence of the mistakes that they keep repeating, what they need to work on, all that stuff. So I really like that part about online coaching, and
nice.
yeah, that's how I like to do it. Reg, tell us about how you coach online.
the secret training. I usually start up new clients on a week of Zoom sessions. It's basically one movement a day, so they don't get too confused with the movements and the cues and all the steps. So baby steps with just conditioning, so they also have fun. I also do feedback videos for everyone. I either send it weekly to my students if 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 they're just starting and getting the hang of it. But if they're the competing ones, I as 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 much as I need to give them feedback, I do. But the way I do it is I record myself explaining, but as Paolo said, it's very convenient for them to come back and understand because they can just pause and repeat and do the movement themselves, and then they send it back to me. And they also learn how to spot their mistakes by them recording themselves and watching their videos right away. So I'm really proud of them right now. Like
Nice.
when they send me videos and they're like, Coach, can you check out my fixation? It looks like it's very slow, but you tell me what to do. So they already know after a while what's wrong, but they it's nice that they admit it also. Not like,
Even
Coach, it's
before
so
they,
hard.
yeah, even before they send it to you, like watching their own videos, it's already like a feedback loop, um,
Yeah,
where they get feedback by themselves.
yeah.
Nice. Cool.
But the
So
part I miss the most in coaching are the tactile cues because it's faster than telling them to
Mm.
lift your weight further back.
Right.
Right, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that weight?
Cool.
And it's actually yeah, picking up on what Reg said about the tactile cues, like it's always
Yeah.
easier to just be there and put your hands on somebody, but the way I see it is it's an opportunity for us as coaches to really hone and develop our the way we describe things, the way we explain things. We have to get better at communicating,
Yeah.
specific things in a way that is easy, like really, really easy for them to understand because we're not there,
Yeah,
right?
like
So
simplifying it, right?
yeah, so communication has to be really on point, and I like this. Yeah,
The
this.
challenge.
Yeah, especially if they all have different personalities and one even one word can be like the same for everyone. You have to change them on the go with
Mm.
whoever you're talking to, which is fun.
So are you guys kind of enjoying the more one-on-one feel kind of you're getting from like online teaching and coaching online as opposed to maybe like a group class with 12 guys in it?
Huh. When I think of group classes, the first thing that comes in my mind was one of the CrossFit classes I had on a lunchtime that was 30 people in it of different levels. No one else was around. So that was a very interesting challenge, but I think that part in my coaching journey really taught me to adapt no matter what size of class there is, what level they are in. So right now it feels like the part of learning I'm more on what to say uh, concentrating right now is lesser stress on learning how to talk to different kinds of people because it's usually just one-on-ones.
Nice.
It's the same person that you have to talk to. It's not like 30 different people you're trying to coach in an hour.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's easier now to coach, but um the one thing I don't really like is that it's on Zoom and
Mm.
it's easy to get distracted because while the person is in front of you, but it's on a screen, and then a dog barks, and then someone knocks on the door. But
Yeah.
you really have to
Right.
concentrate on that person because it's also easy to feel like someone isn't watching over you because it's just a laptop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a phone or a tablet. So yeah, uh, challenging, but it's a unique experience.
Awesome.
Just to rewind a little bit, what app did you use to Coach Power? You said like you would draw lines on people's videos. Like what would you mind sharing what app you use for that
Oh
or
yeah,
what
it's easy.
hardware?
It's
Yeah.
best thing ever. Zoom it.
All right.
Zoomit.
Use it
Best
on your
thing ever.
laptop,
It's
right?
free. Yeah, it's on the laptop.
Nice.
Cool.
And we also ask the students to upload it to YouTube because YouTube has slow mo and fast forwards, so it's easy to spot.
Right.
Just pause, even if you don't have the app, you just pause and screenshot and draw lines. Especially what if it's on Telegram, you can also doodle on the
Like from your phone.
photos. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, cool. Okay, I guess kind of sticking with the Reg for a little bit longer. I know you mentioned earlier in the discussion that part of your fitness journey was kind of overcoming some mental hurdles. How do you think uh, kettlebell and maybe just fitness in general has helped you kind of mitigate the situations you're going through in your life? Wow, that's
Uh,
kind of deep, right?
wow. Wait. Flashbacks. um, I think when you're in a phase where you're just depressed or anxious, um, exercise is a really good um, factor you can put in your day. But you
Mhm.
need to know, or the person guiding you needs to know what you have, and you need to trust them, or else nothing's gonna happen. You
Right.
either feel like there's still this huge wall in front of you that you can't break, or if if you don't trust them and they try to get you to trust them in the wrong language, you might feel like your boundaries are being
Mm.
what's the word? Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. So basically if if you're in a situation, you need to find a coach who understands you, um, and who understands what you need. Because me having both anxiety and depression, I recently figured out that if you're anxious, you need a high intensity workout to burn that anxiousness out as energy.
Hmm.
But if you're depressed and you try to do HIIT, it's gonna get worse. You
Okay.
probably
Hmm.
just need long walks, uh, even long walks outside, get the sun with masks, or on treadmill if you have a treadmill. Something really slow, or probably yoga is gonna be the best for you if you're down. But if you're anxious and you try to do yoga, it's just gonna freak
Right.
you out more because
Right.
you're gonna be more conscious with everything that's happening to you. So looking back at when I started and when I was already getting better, I remember this one time when I was at work and no one else was around. And then I was having a panic attack. But I was already working out then. I figured out if my brain thinks I'm running, but my body is not, then what if I do 10 burpees? Will I calm down? I did 10 burpees and I calmed down.
Okay. Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you have a panic attack, um, you're basically you basically have a high heart rate that's the same as you, and you're hyperventilating, the same as you being on a high intensity workout, right? So
Right.
why not teach your body, teach your brain that if you're reacting this way, you can only react this way if you're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I'm pretty lucky to have a lot of mentors I've worked with who kind of uh, became the pieces of that puzzle
Awesome.
to
Mm.
figure it out. So so right now looking at my pool of students, most of them probably just recently opened up and telling me they either have ADHD or depression or anxiety or being bipolar, and and me letting them know that that I went through that too, help them trust me in a way that they can go through whatever just
Mm.
by doing my program, because they can tell me anytime that, coach, I'm kind of feeling anxious today, but I don't have a workout. Can I do something else to calm me down? Or, coach, I'm not feeling it today, but I have this set. What do you think I
Nice.
should do? So
Awesome. Awesome.
Wow, that's great. That's huh. Like so doing the burpees is like meeting your mind halfway, right?
yeah,
I guess.
yeah,
So you can That makes it easier, lessens the distance uh, that you have to travel to go back to um, center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool.
Cool. Yeah. So again, kind of leading from that, I guess for Coach Powell, Reg was mentioning it's important, obviously, your relationship with your coach. Um, I guess from working with somebody for the first time, how do you kind of develop that open channel of communication between you and your, let's say, your new student or your new client? Um, because again, obviously, like with somebody that's dealing with maybe different, mental issues, you have to be kind of cognizant of all those little nuances in how they're kind of behaving or in signs that they're giving you.
Yeah, great question, Mike. And what Reg's answer, by the way, was that was you need to get that on another podcast, guys.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
we may need a whole separate one just for that one.
Yep.
Anyways, no, that was yeah, that's an opener right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, going back to Mike's question, is my answer would be just time. I mean, if it's somebody new who's coming to you for the first time, you don't know where they're at,
Mm.
and it would be irresponsible to just unload everything on them in the first week. So I
Yeah.
really take my time with it. Like we're talking a month here at least, right? Some people go faster. I mean, some people go slower in terms of how they adapt. But generally, it's really being patient about letting them come to you. That makes sense. Instead
Yeah.
of banging down their door, right?
Mm.
Because especially now we're all online, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff we don't see. When we're at the gym, see somebody come in shuffling their feet, they're tired. It's probably been a hard day. Give them an easy workout. Here, it's just a camera.
Yeah.
You don't know, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So I'm more careful with people who I'm working with for the first time. And to build that relationship, I always give them something that they can achieve, because once you build that positive reinforcement loop, it's just so much easier for everything
Mm.
else to fall into place down the road.
Right.
So patience and yeah, make them feel that they enjoy the process.
Awesome.
So wait, do all of your clients compete in kettlebell, or do all of your clients end up competing in kettlebell?
Actually, no. The majority
Okay.
do, but I do have some people who I'm just coaching exclusively for nutrition or just strength and conditioning, nothing to do with kettlebells. But most, I mean, my specialty is kettlebell sport, and that's really my forte. So
Mm.
I have more people in that department, but it's not my only field.
Reg,
I'm
you kind of have most of your guys compete, correct?
Yeah. Um, they ended up competing on the last um competition because there was one who almost didn't, but he was friends with most of them, and they were like, "We're doing the lift, and you're doing the lift in your program, so just join."
Might as well. When was this competition?
Uh, December.
There's the
Uh,
online on IKO online,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So do you guys think I mean, obviously a question for both of you. Do you think um, competing kind of is a good way to look at getting fit, or vice versa, or do you think it's a kind of a good added value, but not really? Obviously, it's not necessary, but do you think there's a benefit to competing as opposed to just training for fitness?
We're talking in general here, not just kettlebells.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
Yeah.
kettlebell specifically, but in general as well, right?
Okay. Yeah. So competition, it's survival of the fittest. There is no, I did my best and I'm happy with it. Competition is we want to find out who's the top dog. Let's face it. I mean, that's what it is, right? No matter what anybody else says. So with that being in mind, competition is Not necessarily, although it can be used as, an end goal for somebody to strive
Mm.
towards. And just striving towards, a higher goal than what you're capable of now is already worthy of itself, right? Because you'll
Exactly.
reach a higher level. You don't have to kill yourself for it, but there's certain things that you need to do, competition or not, in order to get to where you want to be. So that's my answer.
Reg, kind of the same, or
Yeah, kind of the same. Competing is for most people who has so many going on every day. Competing might be something nice to have, an outlet maybe, especially if they're stressed or they want to achieve something more than just their work. But in terms of, like, for example, in my programming, it kind of leads still to kettlebell sport, even if it's just program for fitness. But it's a good motivation. Like, even if my students don't really know each other, I put them all in a group, in one specific group in Telegram, where they can just talk about anything and they end up being friends. And the competitive vibe isn't them trying to get each other's head cut every
Mm.
single session,
yeah,
because they're basically doing different things, maybe similar, depending on where they are in their program. But I put them. Paolo recently suggested that I put them all in one Google sheet in tabs. So the competitive aspect that comes in isn't to beat the other one, but what if I push myself a little further, like
yeah,
this person who's having so much more happening in their day versus me who just has this and this and this. So it's more of sparking inspiration and support for everyone.
Yeah, and
yeah,
actually to follow up with that, so competition, I think now, especially that everybody's sitting at home,
Mm.
competition can be a very, very good thing to strive towards because the biggest enemy now is, uncertainty. When everything locked down, nobody knew what
Mhm.
was up, what was going to happen. And when you see this thing, an online kettlebell competition, that's like, hey, I can train for this. I have to set a schedule 3 times a week,
nice.
no matter
Yep.
what happens. And just just having that order in your life for the next couple of months, couple of weeks is so helpful. With combating all these negative thoughts that people have just because they're sitting at home doing nothing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So
I
it's like
mean,
a
with
culminating event, a deadline, and provides structure.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Um,
the
Feel
and the
like
funny thing
something.
is, yeah, the funny thing is, most of Regis' new students and my new students are martial artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, jujitsu guys. So
yeah,
no, 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 really. So these guys were competing
Boundaries.
actively, and then the Rona hit, everything shut down.
Right.
What are you gonna do with all this energy, right? It has to
yup.
go somewhere. So guess what? Kettlebells.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think most well, I know that especially from the beginning of lockdown, a lot of people kind of there was this big, huge rush for like home workout equipment, kettlebells, dumbbells. But then a lot of people kind of after a few months, I guess, would find themselves burning out a little bit. Um, so I guess the competition part of it was maybe a good reason to kind of get back, from the just working out for maybe no particular reason to actually finding a motivation to kind of get back on the wagon in terms of, you know, starting to get something regular again, right? As opposed
Right.
to, in the beginning, I think people were just like, hey, we just need to move and we're stuck at home. So let's grab some kettlebells or grab some dumbbells and see what we can do from there.
Like a quarantine holding pattern.
Yeah, exactly. Even for myself, like I know in the first 2 or 3 months of the quarantine, uh, I found myself, especially in Manila, where we are, we've
Yeah.
had the longest lockdown, right? So we're actually still on lockdown in terms of working out. So I know the first 3 or 4 months it was kind of easy to get motivated to just move, but then like coming 6 months in and all of a sudden you're just sitting on your couch trying to figure out how do I get myself motivated. And it's awesome that you guys at like the guys at IKO were thinking, oh, since we can't have these in-person competitions, now let's kind of move to something we can do online. So kind of leading to that, what was it like trying to kind of put together, this competition for IKO? Plus, I know you guys are kind of doing a bunch of certification seminars that are online as well, right? If you can talk a little bit about that as well.
Right. So for this competition, we were actually on the tail end of the calendar. We were the last competition on
Wow.
the IKO calendar, right?
Mm.
So a lot of people had already tested it out, see how it went. They've tried live judging through Zoom. It
Yeah.
depends on your connection, how well that goes. But for the most
Yeah.
part, people have just been sending in videos and then, wait a
Nice.
couple of days to get the results. So for me, I've already had quite, you know, uh, quite a number of events under my belt, like live events, and I would say that process is infinitely more stressful. Online events are a blessing.
Right.
Yeah,
Online
for sure.
events are a blessing because there's no, physical space to take care of.
Yeah.
There, you don't have to do load-ins, clean outs, and all that stuff. Live
Yeah.
judging. I mean, judging will always be a problem because it's you can't really you can't really call it a real competition in the sense that when you say competition, there's that atmosphere of pressure. And if it's
Yeah.
just you at
Yeah.
Exactly.
home, you don't have that.
Yeah.
But it's the best that we can do at the
Yeah.
moment. So yeah, organizing that competition was really, really fun because we had literally everybody from around the world. Even Coach Rudnev jumped in with his crew last minute. So we
That's
had
Nice.
awesome.
about, yeah, we had 94 people in, how many countries was
Wow.
that? 94 people in from 12 countries, yeah, who
Wow.
joined in. That was super fun. That was super fun. Yeah, and it was really, really cool to see new faces actually lifting the belts. A lot of first timers were getting into it. Yeah, so that was really good. And this year we're just trying to continue that momentum, provide people with an outlet. Yeah, that's the best word to describe it, I guess. An outlet
Mm.
and a goal to work towards. Yeah, so we'll see what happens this year.
Cool.
What did you guys have up? Did you guys have anything upcoming? I know that there's supposed to be a seminar coming soon. So
There's
that's
actually a seminar.
okay.
Yeah, there's actually an online seminar by Coach Dennis that's happening next weekend. Yeah, next weekend, right, Reg? Right?
Yep, next weekend, exactly.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
almost forgot.
Yeah,
I
like a
reminded you.
couple of days ago, she was like, "Oh, everybody's ready for the seminar." I'm like, "What seminar?" Oh, yeah. So it's happening next weekend, January 30 to 31. It's 2 days of just Coach Dennis is going to unload everything he has, 20 years of
Wow.
experience in an online, easy to understand format. And really, if you miss out, you're missing out. It's one of those things. It's just one of those things that's just so comprehensive. So, and you can tell that the guy who's delivering it has the experience to back it up,
Yeah.
right? Coach Dennis, undefeated world champion, 10 years, his entire career, world record holder,
Keeps breaking his
super
own
nice
record.
guy. Yeah, yeah, he's breaking his own records. So there. It's a level 1 and level 2 seminar. So you can get certified as a kettlebell coach under IKO through
Mm.
Coach Dennis.
Awesome.
And the
Awesome.
beautiful thing is, the great thing is, you get to keep the recording for this one. So instead
Okay.
of
Oh
attending,
wow.
yeah, instead of attending
Nice.
the live, instead of attending the live seminar where all the information just flies over your head, this one you keep it and then you can review it.
Yeah.
So
I was there. When was our seminar?
We
2019.
2019, I
last
think
year,
we
yeah,
did that.
last year,
2019.
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
And I was like, I
We
was
just
going
got a
between.
book.
Exactly. So we had the book, but I was also going between writing down some notes,
Right.
going to my camera, taking a video, and like just taking it in and watching for myself, right? So yeah, I guess having it automatically on video for you to see like takes off that pressure of having to um, do the logistics of recording to make sure that you don't miss anything. That's pretty cool.
And the
So
great
would
thing is,
Hmm.
And yeah, the great thing about that is to make up for this lack of physical contact with one-on-one contact
Mhm.
with Coach Dennis. You're actually all the participants are actually able to schedule a one-on-one personal consult with him after the seminar.
Oh wow,
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Awesome.
so you can ask him anything,
With Coach
that you
Dennis.
with Coach Dennis. It's just you and him online.
That's wow. Okay,
Even with
that's
with
super
the
cool.
actual certification, I see people breaking the anxiety of asking a question when it's an actual one personal what you call this
Face to
certification,
face.
just like
Yeah.
yeah, face to face certification where any questions and everyone's like, I'm too shy.
Everyone's
But
shy all of a sudden.
yeah, but now people just Paolo just manages everyone. Everyone just types their question, and Paolo just
That's.
asks himself. So
Right.
there's
I
there's
was gonna
less
say
pressure.
that type in the chat if you have any questions.
Yeah,
Give us
maybe
the thumbs up.
Yeah.
yeah, give us a thumbs up.
That's cool. All
Awesome.
right.
Yeah, so
Was there?
actually, yeah, I wanted to throw it in
Sorry, I think we lost you
there.
for a second there, Coach Powell.
Just 1 week till the seminar, but anybody who just message. Oh, is that
Hello,
cool?
hello.
Coach Bob.
You're dropping out a
Yeah,
little bit,
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. There you
There,
go. Can you?
there.
There,
Yeah.
there.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah. So take two. Anybody who hears this will get
Oh.
IKO level 1 and level 2 happening this weekend, January 30.
Rewind
All
it.
right, take 3,
Yeah,
please.
Yeah, you're gonna have to take 3 on that one.
Jesus, forget it, forget it.
No, so you guys are having a seminar on January 30 and 31, right? Um, so
Registration is still open.
Yeah, if you message us on the Facebook page, we'll give you a special deal through this podcast.
all right, we'll make sure that the link is available in the comments, and maybe RJ will edit in the Facebook page later.
Oh, yes.
All right. Aside from this January seminar, any other events coming up?
Competitions. We're personally hosting one in, oh God, when is it?
May
May.
one,
May. There
May
you
one,
go. See, Reg knows the calendar. May 1.
May one.
And then we have other seminars lined up, I think in July and October.
Great, awesome. Sounds good, guys. I know Coach Powell, you have to go in a couple minutes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, so I think
So
it
yeah,
might
we
make
covered pretty much all the
yeah.
topics. That
I think we went over pretty
we,
much
yeah.
except for Reg's personal podcast, which we'll work on later. But thank you guys for coming on board.
How do the audience reach? How would the audience reach you guys for any
Right.
for training and consultation?
Yeah, so for me personally, the
Slide
Instagram
in your
handle,
DM.
yeah, slide in the DMs, man. Smash that like button on my Instagram page. I am Kettlebell Man, and we have our gym page, which is the Powerhouse uh, KB Club on Instagram. Is it Reg? How-
Yes, Powerhouse Baby Club.
yeah, Powerhouse KB Club, and Reg has her own page, which she's gonna tell us about now.
Yeah, you can head over to Instagram and look for me, Kettle BB Reggie Bells. Kettle BB underscore Reggie Bells.
Yeah, you can slide in her DMs too, guys. So
Yeah.
She's
all right,
looking for
man.
Russians only, guys.
Oh, is it Russians only?
Get into my DMs. I'll tell you her type.
All right, we
Awesome,
gotta cut
awesome.
this. That's when we cut the podcast.
Reg is like,
I.e. vet you.
so for personal inquiries, contact Coach RJ
Or Coach Pao.
or Coach Powell or Coach Powell. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming on board. We hope to have you back maybe soon with Coach Dennis as well. Reg, don't
There's
worry
so many
about.
topics that we just like glossed over there. Yeah.
I know. We were a little bit hampered by time, but next time we'll try to get a little bit more in depth into each of their current life statuses and situations.
Alrighty. Anything else you guys want to say?
Thank you, Mike and RJ and Reg. Great to see you guys again. And we're gonna live soon. We're gonna eat. We're gonna live soon. Whichever comes first.
I know, right?
Cool.
Fuck COVID.
What What do you guys say to the audience? Last words.
For me, just whatever it is you're doing, find something you like to do. It doesn't have to be bells. Just keep moving, keep exercising, because it's one of the like really now more than ever we know that health is the only real wealth. So yeah, that's what I want to
Yes, sir.
tell everybody.
Tell everyone that no matter what journey you're coming to, you just need a support group you trust, and that's gonna take care of itself.
Yeah, just keep moving forward, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right.
Thank you very much. And I think we're going to end it here from the Alpha Training Podcast. Thank you, guys.
Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more episodes.
This is the Alpha Training Podcast.